right now where we are in the world, we really need to work together. And so we have all kinds of folks trying to work together, trying to work against this battle or win that battle or build this community and break down and dismantle, communities that aren't serving us. But what gets in the way every time is race.
I think it's really, as Americans, we still are really not good at seeing a racist impact when there is no apparent racist. We need to really broaden our view so that we can see that if you have had decades, centuries of explicit racism, and then on top of that you lay seemingly race-neutral rules and policies, you're going to get still a churning out of racial disparities, again, even if no one intended to do that. Because that's the way structural racism works, that history matters.
We unarmed civilians. We unarmed civilians. Don't do it.
They looking for something to mess with you. They looking for it. It's just sad. It's sad. We Americans too. We work hard. We raise our kids just like they do.
That's fucked up. Oh, I'm gonna tell you something, man. At the end of the day, as far as this earth concerned, I'm talking about earth, because there's a lot of Freddie Grays, there's a lot of Mike Browns, and everywhere there's a lot of racism. Ain't never going to change, and ain't never going to change. And I'm telling you, to your face, to the camera, to the media, ain't shit going to change. Excuse my language. Ain't nothing going to change. Flat. Nothing. Never. It ain't never going to happen. This is an excuse for them to kill us. That's it. Just an excuse.
Every time I ever got stopped in my life, damn near the police want me to throw my keys out the window, put both my hands out the window, get back, walk towards them, get down, treat me like an animal. You know what I'm saying?
When I use the term codes of power, I'm foremost talking about the reality that culture informs everything that we do. And that most white people, because we live in a country where we see ourselves everywhere in every way, and our culture is validated everywhere and in every way, we don't understand how our cultural values are brought into the classroom. So when a white boy walks in the room, we understand him. We have similar cultural values. We understand how to behave, how to talk, how to respond to one another. If I'm a white woman and he's a white boy, he can see me as his mother. I can see him as my child. A white boy who walks in the room and is animated and moving around and maybe even a little cheeky is smart. And isn't he smart? Isn't he cheeky? He's almost looked at as, well, boys will be boys. A boy of color, especially an African-American boy who walks in the room exhibiting the same behavior, walks in and it's, I might need to keep an eye on him. And that, I really believe, is our internalized racism, that we are afraid of these young boys. And I'm talking young boys, 4 years old and above. And that instead of the teacher looking at him or herself and saying, what is going on with me, that this same behavior creates fear in me instead of admiration, we pathologize the boy of color.
Unactivated active brake light, and that's going to be your passenger side one. Your third brake light, which is up here on top, and then this one back here is going to be out. You have your license and insurance?
I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it
out.
Don't pull it out.
You just killed my boy. He wasn't
Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Code 3! Get the baby girl out of here!
When we talk about race, we often think about it as something that's personal. Am I a good person? Am I doing the right thing? However, disparities, inequities actually function as a system, and a system has many parts that work together. In this case, we define the system of racialization, or the system of inequities, as something that is embedded in history, in culture, and identity. And it has internal and external components. It's moved by power and economics. Internal components, bias, privilege, and internalized racism. And these elements play out in relationships that are interpersonal, institutional, and structural. What's fascinating about any system is that all of these things are happening at the same time.
You will not replace us! You will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Blood and soil! 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 Whose streets? Our streets! 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 Whose streets? Our streets!
All the chaos that you've seen today has been brewing for quite some time, and I don't think it's ever been about a statue. I think it's been about right is right and wrong is wrong, and that so many people stand for the wrong things happening, and not many of us have came out until it's too late. This is what we deal with every day being African American, and this has always been the reality of Charlottesville. You can't stand in one corner in the city and not look at the master sitting on top of Monticello. He looks down on us. He's been looking down on this city for God knows how long. This is Charlottesville.
I couldn't look at a white policeman after that torture. I saw it as almost like a threat to society, that this kind of violence could be in people. That's when I began to get this passion for reconciliation. Love is something that you give, that's a grace. It's not something that you seek. And love almost itself breaks you down because it's such a grace. I want to preach a gospel that is stronger than my race. I want to preach a truth that can reconcile people.